Well, thank you all for having me here for this is my first Ideas on Tap. I've been up here a couple other times for other events, and I'm excited to be here. What I'm going to talk to you today about is our company a little bit, but more so of what drove our growth and what drives us today. And when you speak of innovation, people don't often think about company culture and how that relates to innovation. And we were stuck in a quagmire for a while, and then we had a kind of an aha moment, and we really started to focus and invest in our company culture, and that changed the game for us. And so that's kind of where I'm going to focus today. And the thing we realized is culture eats strategy for lunch. And if you can have the best strategy in the world, and if you do not have the culture to support that, your chances of success are like what Tommy was saying, 80 to 90% of companies fail. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. And if you start breaking out those reasons, you can chip it away and get to where it's only 5% of companies fail who do all of these types of things. And culture is one of them. So, make sure this clicker works. Oh, thank you. That's it, I guess. Hang on, that's turn this around here. Hang on. Alrighty. So, who is TinyEYE? So TinyEYE Technology Corporation, or TinyEYE Therapy Services, is our company. And what we do is provide online speech therapy to school districts around the world, and primarily in North America, but we're in about, 12 countries or something like that. And we have a team of, we've got just over 40 people on our corporate team, and then we've got 150 or 160 people on our therapy team. And out of all those people, only 8 of us come to the office every day. Everyone else works from home, and we have a complete virtualized environment that allows that. We say work is what you do, not where you do it. And it allows us to look all over the map to find people that are going to be a good fit for our team, not just people that may be in our geographic vicinity. And that's changed the game for us. So we have a simple interface, but a huge system behind it that drives the therapy process. And we've actually changed all sorts of laws and regulations throughout Canada and the US to be able to deliver this service online. We're the first in the world to deliver online therapy. We started in 2005, and that was before there was any FaceTime, Facebook, Twitter, any of these things. So we were out selling Star Trek type ideas. Today, online education and online services are very common, but it was a huge battle to get through that. And in our platform, we've got hundreds of games that target all sorts of different disorders, communication challenges, and work with kids of all ages. And so that's in essence what we do, why we do it, why do we really exist as a company. It's we mend spirits, grow smiles, and engage children in their lives. So at the end of the day, we can have a bad quarter, but we still treated 3,000 kids this quarter, and they all have a better life. And maybe we were a little flat, but you still have a good feeling at the end of the day. And for us, that's really important. It makes a difference to know that we're making a difference, having a profound positive impact on lives as we go about growing our business. So that was important to us, and we didn't really know that until we started, and we had some really hard days, and we're like, why the crap are we doing this? It's like, oh yeah, there's some other people out there that might benefit. Okay, so what the crap is culture anyway, right? So when I say what is culture, what do you guys think of? What does culture mean to you? What is culture, if you could describe it? Yeah, traditions, shared values. Anyone else?
Community.
Sure, great. Anyone else? Norms, yeah. Fun, sure. And what we look at, what we boiled it down to the basis level, which is described in all of these things, is what is normal. So if you're in the middle of Cambodia and you're describing what's Canada like, what's Canadian culture, and you say, well, in the middle darkness of winter, we go out into the forest and we chop down a tree, haul it into our living rooms, cover it with funny lights, and then wrap up a bunch of junk, stick it under there, and tell all the little kids that some fat dude riding magical reindeer came down the chimney and stuck it there. And everyone agrees that that's good, and that's normal for us, right? That's really normal. But when you explain it to someone else, it's like, hang on a second here, how did we get to this point? And that's often where you get to in a company culture, is if you don't have a defined plan or vision for that, it's just whoever shows up to the party, they bring their pieces and their presents and their Christmas tree and their turkey and whatever it is you're doing on that day, and it becomes normalized. And that can be an okay thing, but it's a little bit like pouring cement without a form. It just forms whatever shape it's going to take. And sometimes that can be dangerous. So for us, it became a little dangerous. We recognized, and all of these are ideas that other people have shared with me, and I'm repurposing them, is culture is working for you 24/7. And you have to understand that. Whether you like it or not, it's working for you. And an intentional culture can prevent toxic behavior, and an unintentional culture can promote toxic behavior. And we got to a point where we had toxic behavior in our company after about 4 or 5 years. And the question that kept me up at night is my culture working for me or against me? And if you think about all your individual organizations, even just the team within an organization or the organization or community group as a whole, is the culture working for that group? Are the norms satisfying the vision of that group? Are the norms that you guys have driving your vision, driving your strategy? Anybody want to, are they? Is there anybody want to be brave and say yes or no or maybe? I don't know. Is there? Do you guys speak English? Is this Hang on, am I in the right room here? No, I'm kidding. But it's a profound question, and it's something you should ponder. So, where to begin? We woke up one day, I woke up and it's like, I just want to quit. I don't like coming to work anymore. And then it's like, hang on a second, I started this company, I own the damn thing, I don't have to quit. I can change things. Oh, all right. But where to begin? Like, how do you even know, And so you start with your personal values. And as a leader on your team or a leader in your community group or whatever it is, your culture has to resonate with you. If it doesn't, it's very hard to execute something that doesn't resonate with you. Very few people in this room could have been the leader of Trump's campaign, right? I'm guessing, because the values and the things that were perpetuated there maybe not resonated. I'm not trying to get political, it's just an easy example. But if you're doing things that don't resonate with you, you'll find challenge and internal strife. The next thing is search for models that articulate those values clearly. You don't have to invent a whole system and all of these things. There's thousands of books written on different areas of culture, of values, of missions, of ways to approach these problems. And I really encourage you to read and research and find the ones that best articulate the values that you have or things that you strive to become. And that's what we did. And then get your team involved in the process. So it just can't be you saying, okay, now this is our culture, and then everybody keeps doing what they're doing, right? People have to buy in to weigh in. Okay. So what we did, how we roll, we looked at 2 areas. We looked at the individuals on our team and ourselves, and we looked at the teams itself and how people work together. And we have many different pieces of our cultural model, but I'll just go over a couple of the key ones that really resonate or really drove things forward. We use the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a book by Stephen Covey, and it's really good. It's really easy, and we thought, I want to work with effective people. I want to be an effective person. I want to be a real contributor. How do I do this? Well, here's a book that lays out, the habits that will get you there. And if everybody on your team is living by these habits, you have one hell of a team. Even if the skill sets aren't quite there in the functional part of the role, they will get there. And then we have the TinyEYE 5, which is a decision-making process tool, and we looked at coachability. And that's your ability to learn and receive feedback and all of those things. From the team side, we found the book 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni to be a real great model for us. And it just describes how to operate as a team, how to come to the best decisions and reduce risk in everything you're doing. So I'll go over these quickly, just so, and then we'll have some room for questions and whatnot. 7 Habits. Who here has read the book? Look at that. Amazing. Give that book to the person sitting next to you if they haven't read it. It's a great book to share. It's life-changing if you really follow it. So just in general, the 7 habits are: be proactive, which means know it, own it, drive it, achieve it. It's up to you. Every decision you've ever made in your life is the result of your life. You are driving your life. There's no invisible hand or force that's putting you into these spots. If you don't like your life, it's you who has made the decisions that put yourself there. Begin with the end in mind. Focus on your goal, make informed decisions, and drive efficiencies. And that's just knowing where you're going when you set out. It's important, right? But first things first, invest time into planning. Everything that fails in this world, or everything that's built, is built twice, once in our minds and once in reality, and it's usually here where we've failed, not when putting the pieces together. Think win-win or no deal. This is so important, and I learned this the hard way in business. Sometimes negotiate a higher price and think, hey, I got these guys, I got more margin on this one, and then 3 months later they're off with the competitors or someone else, and I'm like, well, what the hell? You know, I negotiated well, but I didn't. I got a win for me and a lose for them, and that wasn't sustainable, and that's cost us, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, and hard lessons learned. But it's so important to know that. And if a deal isn't win-win, it's not sustainable. And in business, you have to have the long-run horizon. You can't be doing deals that are not win-win if you want to, you know, increase your chances of surviving and thriving. Seek to understand before trying to be understood. That's often one when we're in a passionate moment and heated discussions, we reverse. We try to be understood and maybe seek to understand. But it's so important, and you grow so much and you learn so much, and you can actually add to a discussion and an output in doing that. And just using the verbiage, I'm seeking clarity so I can do this. Tell me more, help me understand. To clarify, I will repeat what I understand so far. And when you talk like this and act like this, people will tell you more and be more trusting of you. And you have to genuinely do it. You can't just be playing the role. Synergize, that's just collaborating. Everybody knows kind of what that is. And sharpen the saw, this is the most important one in my mind. So many people leave their school, you know, university or whatever, and never read a book again, never do any professional development and that type of thing. And we just really encourage everybody to keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing yourself. TinyEYE 5, this is a really important one. This is our own invention, and it's come in handy so many times. What this does is allows anyone in our company to make a decision about anything regarding anyone or anything just using this model. And it has to satisfy these 5 criteria. So what's best for the student, the person we're serving, the person receiving therapy, and in this order, right? The student, then the customer, the person paying for that, whether it's a school, a parent, a government, or whatever. What's best for TinyEYE, our long-term sustainability, our ability to thrive and grow in the future. What's best for your team members that are affected by this decision? And finally, what's best for you? So you're on the list, but you're number 5 on the list. And problems happen when you become number 1 on the list and everything else becomes number 2 or whatnot. And we use this all the time. So we get into a situation where something happened, maybe there was a technical glitch and this and that, and do we bill the customer or do we pay for it? Do we do this? Do we do that? And we can have anybody that can be 3 months into the job in an admin role, they can make decisions on billing and invoicing and all those types of things using this model. And it's very powerful, and it alleviates so much stress and decision making that I have to do because I trust my team to be able to make the right decisions. And if they use this and something goes wrong, well, so be it. That's how it went. And these are things that have, you know, they've never proven to get us into any trouble. Coachability. So when we do interviews, the number one thing, or not number one, but something I ask every time is, tell me about the feedback you've received in your life. And the number one answer to that is, well, you know, I haven't really received much feedback. And it's like, okay, well, did you solicit feedback? Yeah. And how do people usually ask for feedback? How am I doing? What's the answer? Exactly, right? Great feedback, right? How am I doing right now? Good, right? Yeah, okay. So we looked into how do we change this? How do we improve this? How do we help people grow through coaching? And we found this model called KSS, and every week everyone's supposed to ask one person on their team, a mentor or a supervisor, what do I keep doing? What do I stop doing? And what do I start doing? And this drives the conversation. Now, the first time you ask this to somebody, usually their response is going to be, well, what the hell are you doing? It's true, right? You know, everyone's off doing their stuff, and it's like, oh, you're doing that? Oh, shit, you know? Anyways, it's powerful. It becomes powerful in the repetition. Week after week after week, you do this 52 weeks in a row, what do you think is going to happen to your life? What do you think is going to happen to your ability to perform and contribute and drive your own results? It goes through the roof. And we have many people on our team that do this all the time consistently, and they are the fastest growing people in our company. They get promoted, they get the raises, they get all those kind of fun stuff. It works. Anyways, okay, so get low on time here. 5 dysfunctions of a team is the last thing I'll talk about. And it's just essentially a model for teamwork. This resonates well with us. There's 100 models out there. This is one we like. When managing people traditionally, it's like, where's the results? They're not there. Who's accountable, right? But the problem is usually in the first 3 steps. There was no commitment. There was no safe conflict or debate around the issue to come up with the best idea. And there was no debate because there wasn't enough trust amongst the people that they could wrestle with an idea without wrestling with each other. And that's really important. And leaders on the team, they're responsible for initiating debate, initiating conflict within the teams. We want people arguing. We want people debating so they can commit to the best outcome, not just the loudest voice. And that often happens. And people say, oh, we do this, but do you do it when it counts? You know, when you're personally vested and it's going to look like you are the one that made the mistake, do you do it then? And that's when it becomes challenging. So we say, sit in the hot tub a little longer, be uncomfortable. You know, when you first get in the hot tub, it's too hot, but then you get there, right? So that's essentially the model we use for our team building. We dived into each of these areas. Trust was a big one we looked at. We're like, can we actually even measure trust? How do you know you trust somebody? And we found a really neat little way to measure that. And it's essentially if you score from 0 to 10, these 4 criteria. So 1 is your credibility. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Can you do it? Do you have that skill set? Your reliability. Will you do it? Can you do it on time? Can you deliver those results? And your care, or your ability to be open with people. So when someone engages you, are you actually engaging with them? And you take those 3, 0 to 10, give yourself a score, and then you divide it by your self-interest. So if you have a really high self-interest and really high, say 10 out of 10 on all of those, your trust score is 3. But if you got 10 out of 10 on the first 3 and low self-interest, your trust score is 30. And that's a huge difference in ability to trust people. And trust is the basic thing you need in a company to grow your team and to grow your career. Anyways, so that's it. Culture drives strategy. And that's how we did it. That's a little bit on our culture and how we've innovated with it. And it changed our world. That we've grown hundreds of percentage since we implemented this new culture. I sleep easier at night. I don't have stress. There's so many better things about it. And that's my little ditty. Thank you.